Now, gentlemen, Manchester City, Hoffenheim. City gave a goal up after 44 seconds. They were awful. And they had Vincent Kompany played, Otamendi played, Laporte played left back, Walker played right back. They had a decent team out. John, you saw the game?
Yes.
And they were awful.
Yeah, very poor, Eamon. There was no urgency about them. There was no drive about them. They did well to get the win at the finish. Silva did extremely well to get the goal for them, but they were slow in their build up. And Hoffenheim were good. I think that,
and they had the reserve team out virtually.
Yeah.
They had 5 experienced players. They left another star man, midfield player out. So it was a very young team.
Very young team,
and not a very good team.
No, they played extremely well on the night, much better than I expected them to. That was mainly down to City, who didn't put them under any pressure. They allowed them to play. City were very, very poor, and they were very lucky to get away with it, to get the 2 points. I mean, as we know, it was a couple of minutes to go, or very near the end, that they actually scored. But they didn't play well, and it was very unlike what they have been doing since Guardiola, and pressing the ball and doing all. Maybe they thought it was going to be easy because the team wasn't very good, but that's the wrong mentality as well. And I'm surprised that Guardiola encouraged that in any way. But they got away with it, and it was a very, very poor performance.
Liam, they are so frail at the back. Even though they could have won, they could have scored 3 or 4 more goals. Hoffenheim also could have scored a couple of more goals. It's coming into this game at Anfield on Sunday, 4:30 kickoff. I think there's no way, Liam, that City can keep a clean sheet. Do you agree? Because John was laughing at me when I said that the other day.
Well, you know, that's certainly the weak side of their team is the right selection in defence, particularly central defence. And Guardiola seems to be kind of rotating his teams to suit the opposition.
Yes,
and I don't know whether that's kind of brought this. It looks like complacency into the team. That's going on at the moment. They're not playing with, great enthusiasm. They're not playing with great energy. Now, whether that's partly to do with being a World Cup year and lads getting back late, and some of them going, to more or less all the way in the World Cup. I don't know, but there's something not quite right. I can't see them stopping Liverpool from scoring at the weekend, but they certainly have the capabilities to win the match at Anfield if they play properly, if they play as well as they can. But they haven't showed that this season. They're so good and they're so ahead of everyone else, Eamon, that they can almost play within themselves and still get the 3 points, and I think that's why they're at the top of the league. They're not in form. Aguero depend totally on him. I think if you take him out of the side, you take a lot of their capabilities away. I think he's still doing brilliantly for them, but it's going to be a great game at the weekend. It's going to be a great game to see if Salah can bounce back, or the 3 lads up front who gave them such a hard time last season in 2 or 3 games can do it again this season. So I'm really looking forward to that one.
Yeah, John.
Liverpool. Can Liverpool keep a clean sheet?
Well, I come
how many
to
goals
that.
did they give up the other night? They were terrible at the back.
No, Liverpool have improved what they had. They've got a decent keeper now. They have Van Dijk, and Gomez is back in alongside Van Dijk. They have a proper defence. The right back, Trent Alexander-Arnold, is a defensive disaster. He really is. The goal at Chelsea that Hazard scored, for example, he was 30 or 40 yards out of his ground. But the question I've asked is, I actually don't know if either of them could keep a clean sheet, but if you're trying to insinuate that Liverpool's defence is as poor City's defence. I disagree with you.
Hang on, I never said that at all.
No, well, I thought that was the...
No, well, that's what you thought, but you're wrong. No, Liverpool are not good.
It's getting very fiery.
No,
you're letting Guardiola cloud your judgment about my questions.
No, you've said enough now. Don't be silly. Nobody clouds my judgment.
No.
And nobody clouds your judgment. I would never say that to you.
I'm only joking.
Okay, I'll take it as a joke then.
It is a joke.
Liverpool the other night were terrible at the back. I don't think they're good defensively. They're not as bad as Manchester City when teams get at Manchester City. Manchester City are weaker at that.
Yeah.
But they're not perfect by a long way.
No.
And Manchester City play as well going forward. If they do, this defence is not good.
Yes.
I mean, they could have given up 4 goals the other night against what was regarded as not one of the best teams in the world.
No.
So I don't think Klopp has it right defensively either.
Right.
Now, he's steadier than Manchester City, but if this game goes the way, if Salah and the other boys don't produce like they produce, because a lot depends on them to keep away from their defence, whereas Manchester City can hold the ball a lot longer and keep away from the defence. It's fascinating to watch, but I don't think Liverpool are one of those safety first teams who are not going to give anything away. And Manchester City, right. The two of them are a bit dodgy at the back. Manchester City more than Liverpool, but Liverpool. Yeah. I don't trust Liverpool's defence either by a long way. And
I think what Liverpool also have is, I think he's got 3 or 4 players that he can fiddle around with in midfield. If it's Henderson, Milner, Keita, Wijnaldum, who's a workhorse, they are the sort of shield. And behind them, I think you got 3 very good players: Gomez, Robertson. Van Dijk, I think, has been very good, very, very good in the air, and he brings a bit of composure. Liam, I'm going to ask you, and then I'm going to ask John, who's going to win this game and how? What are you laughing for, John? You got the hump with me, Liam. I would put my house on Liverpool.
Well, I wouldn't be putting my house on it, because they're very evenly matched. I do think Manchester City are missing Kevin De Bruyne big time. And the fact that he's not in the team, I think, gives Liverpool a better chance. But it's like I wouldn't have my house on either of them. I think they're probably going to contest the league title between them. I don't see anybody else coming into that equation.
It's a huge game in that context.
Maybe Chelsea, but they haven't got a centre forward, Chelsea. So
no.
I would have said that it's going to be between Liverpool and Man City. And if Liverpool are going to win it, they need to win this game. They need to get the 3 points against City. And I give them, if Salah can come back to form, I give them a big chance. I would say 60% I'd go for Liverpool and 40% City.
John, it's a huge match in the context. Now, you were involved with Leeds in sort of duels for the title with Liverpool or Manchester, and it's when you play your direct rival for the title. Yeah. It's massive, isn't it?
It's huge. I mean, psychologically, point-wise, the most important thing was psychologically as well. That's why it's a fascinating. I'm really looking forward. I think it's going to be a terrific match. At the moment, I would probably slightly favour Liverpool to do it, but there'll be lots of ifs and buts and that again. Again, you see, we're judging Liverpool a lot on the 3 up front playing like they were last year.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they're not.
No.
You know what I mean? And then you've got the midfield as a battle as well. You see, if Liverpool, I think if these guys are not working, Liverpool don't have it in the middle of the field to control the game. I mean, they're good players when we stuck before with Miller and these guys. They're really good at what they do, but they're not going to control the game.
No, I think Liam's right about De Bruyne. He did give an injection into Manchester City tempo-wise, and he's a big loss.
It's a huge loss. I mean, he was the one that could play in the middle of De Silva does what he does, and he's very, very good, and a few of the other lads are good, but De Bruyne was the one who was in the middle of the field, actually linking it from back to front. They don't have anybody to do that.
No,
so he is a huge loss, there's no doubt about that.
Okay, call it, John.
I'll say if anybody's going to win it, I would say Liverpool slightly.
Right. But that's the same as Liam, and I'd go
2-1 Liverpool, Eamon.
Okay, and I think Liverpool. I can see Liverpool keeping a clean sheet against them, and I can see Liverpool scoring 2 or 3 goals against them, and I can see Liverpool smothering them in midfield. In the absence
So
of...
you're going to have your house on it?
Yeah.
no.
That should be 6-0 to Liverpool.
No, I'll have a fiver. John and Liam, thank you both very much for that, and we'll all be watching it and we'll all be talking during the game, and I'm going to ground if Liverpool lose. Thanks very much. That's Liam Brady and John Giles. We look forward to this fabulous match on Sunday. It's a 4:30 kick-off. We misled our listeners the other day. I misled them by saying the match was on Saturday. I'll be just taking my seat on Saturday.